Hey y'all, welcome back. Andrew Finney here. Redfin's Chief Economist Daryl Fairweather said to expect home prices to continue to fall in a recent interview with Yahoo Finance. Goldman Sachs says housing market growth will slow sharply. In fact, they completely reversed their course from the beginning of this year. So why are some economists calling this a balanced housing market? We'll talk about that and more coming up. As always, timestamps and resources are linked in the description below this video because I value your time and I appreciate you being here. All right, I know you're busy, so bookmark this video if you need to, and if not, let's make the most of your time. Redfin Chief Economist Daryl Fairweather says home prices will continue falling through 2022. I watched the interview a few times and she didn't mention anything about 2023, at least yet. But from recent comments, some of you have an idea why she's radio silent on this. In this video I published last week, y'all had a lot to say. Thank you for all the comments. I love hearing from you and replying to as many of you as possible. So tell me if you agree with Christina. Christina said people aren't buying homes right now because they're still overvalued. So even if there are fewer buyers to compete with, people are sick and tired. Even if they could afford these prices, out of principle, they don't want to. Redfin also isn't going to come out and say a full-on recession is coming, LMAO. Thanks for commenting, Christina. If you want to check out the video after this one, I'll pop it up here. For now, let's get back to what Daryl had to say. She cited housing affordability issues and the steep price for the average home and soaring mortgage rates as the cause. She said mortgage rates are so high, homebuyers simply can't afford their monthly payments. Monthly payments are about 40% up from last year. It's really hard for buyers to stomach that. Yeah, no kidding. Who would be jumping for joy with almost a 40% increase in monthly mortgage payments or other monthly expenses? I wouldn't be jumping around either. Instead, I'd be sprinting the opposite direction unless it looked like it could be even worse than it is currently.
Exactly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get out of here,
Unfortunately, it does seem like we're headed in that direction too. Coming up, we'll take a look at why Goldman Sachs flipped on their housing forecast for 2022 and what they say is going to happen going into 2023. But first, let's get back to Daryl. The Yahoo Finance post interviewing Daryl talks about the significantly waning homebuyer demand in the current housing market. They mentioned the 63,000 people that backed out of deals in July. In percentage terms, that was a whopping 16.4% of all buyers in contract that canceled their sales. So almost 1 in 5 people just bowed out of the market. That's substantial. I'm curious to see how the August numbers will play out when the data starts rolling in. We'll talk about it when it does. So that's how some buyers respond to the crazy home prices and mortgage rates. But what about sellers? What are they doing? The post says with fewer buyers willing to pay more than the asking price for a home, some sellers are pulling their listings from the market for now. Look, to me, that's absolutely absurd. Either you have a desire or a need to sell a house or you don't. But expecting a buyer to pay above list price for a home? That's just foolish. Remember, you will be a buyer or a renter when you sell your house now or later, unless you own multiple homes. Would you want to pay above the list price for a home, especially with mortgage rates on the rise? Something to think about and something to consider. What goes around comes around. So let's treat each other right and with kindness. All right, so Daryl was asked what she thinks will happen. Here's what she said. Still, the recent pullback in buyer demand is unlikely to cause home prices to plunge so sharply that the market will fall into a housing recession. When asked why so many experts are saying we're already in a housing recession, Daryl answered, I think housing recession is a bit of hyperbole. This is a normal part of the housing cycle. We just had a really hot period, and you know what goes up must come down eventually. That happens in the housing market every so often. So if you want to buy a home or sell a house, how will you know when the time is right for you to make your move? What are you watching for and waiting to happen? Let us know in the comments. Thank you. By the way, if you're learning anything from my videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really means a lot to me. Subscribing is free, and so are likes and comments. So tell me how I'm doing and what you want to see next. Thank you. Goldman Sachs recently reversed course in their revised housing forecast for 2022 and touched on what their model suggests for 2023. They initially forecast home prices to go up 16% by the end of 2022, but now, in this post by CNBC, Goldman Sachs anticipates housing market growth to slow sharply. To be honest, I'm not surprised. We discussed this in that 2022 housing market predictions video I created earlier this year. Yeah, I get it. My prediction videos are like a real estate market doctoral thesis. 46 minutes of my nerdiness on display in that one. What can I say? We live, learn, and grow. Too bad it only took me creating 730 plus videos and counting to figure this out. Well, I guess I put in my 10,000 hours the hard way. Oh yeah, if you only see like 180 plus videos on my channel right now, it's because I removed over 550 of them last year. Don't worry, I'll put all the videos back up soon. Those videos provide a lot of educational value to help you buy, sell, invest, and own real estate. I just was trying something to get the algorithm's attention to see if it would increase the reach of my videos so I could help more people. But it didn't work. What else is new? So it's time to just pivot and move forward. If you're with me, please subscribe. Thank you. So I'm trying something new again. Now I'm working on delivering as much value as possible in the least amount of time. But if you want me to, we can go much, much deeper. Just let me know. My goal is to simply be here for you, talking about the things important to you and that you want to know more about. Anyhow, thank you for hearing me out. Let's get back to Goldman Sachs. So when they say sharply slow down, how sharp is sharply? Are we talking about home price deceleration or depreciation? To find out, I dug deeper and found a post from Business Insider published on August 11, 2022. In the post, Goldman Sachs says, "We retain our 2022 full-year home price appreciation forecast of 9.4%. What that means is they believe home values will be 9.4% more expensive measured from January 1st through December 31st, 2022. We'll see how that plays out. Flipping from 16% appreciation to 9.4% is a pretty big thing coming from a major financial market leader like Goldman Sachs. That said, I still believe that the housing market could start seeing declining values by the end of 2022, especially in those metros where home price appreciation rocketed to the moon. Time reveals all, and we'll find out together. From Daryl's interview with Yahoo Finance and the flip-flopping reports from Goldman Sachs, why are some economists calling this a balanced real estate market? We'll talk about that soon. For now, let's see what Goldman Sachs' crystal ball has to say about home prices in 2023. On August 31st, 2022, Fortune published a post titled, "The U.S. Housing Market Downturn Will Be Worse in 2023, Forecast Goldman Sachs." The post says Goldman Sachs expects home price growth to decelerate significantly. The investment bank expects home prices to rise just 1.8% in 2023. I don't know about you, but I'm curious about what data set they view when making these forecasts. I tend to look at things from a macro and micro point of view. I can appreciate their thoughts are based on existing macro reports like the jobs report, inflation rate, federal funds rate, household earnings, consumer sentiment, and mortgage delinquency rates, to name a few. But I think they miss the mark from the micro point of view. The micro is where you and I live on that complex finance model they use. The issue is it seems to be out of touch with us. As a full-time realtor in Las Vegas, Nevada, I hear and see things from their eyes and listen to their concerns about what keeps them awake at night. I also have the privilege of reading your comments that you post on my channel, which sheds various points of views about where you are in your life and in your journey right now. According to their findings, I don't know who they think will buy all the homes at the current prices, much less homes that will be 1.8% more expensive next year. Many buyers are already priced out, especially first-time home buyers and buyers in the middle income brackets. Even buyers earning around $100,000 to $150,000 a year cannot buy homes at the current prices. Add escalating mortgage rates to the mix and the outlook, it isn't so peachy. Think about it. If the average home buyer cannot afford a home, then prices must adjust accordingly. I've shared many times that the housing market likely needs to depreciate between 15% and 25% to balance out. That's what I think will happen within the next 24 months. What do you think will happen to home prices? Let us know in the comments. Thank you. So when I read this post from Realtor.com titled "Economists Have a Strange New Buzzword for the Housing Market That Will Shock Home Buyers and Sellers," I was curious. Like, what is the new word of the month now? In the post, they say the latest word du jour to describe the state of the real estate today is almost shocking in its tepidness. The word is balanced. They reference 4 economists in their post saying things like this one by Realtor.com's chief economist, Danielle Hell. She said, the early 2022 enthusiasm that homeowners had towards selling is evaporating as the housing market rebalances. Curious enough, if you watch the housing market predictions video I posted earlier this year, I shared a list of buzzwords we'll hear this year. Rebalance and balanced were on that list, among several others. So check it out sometime. It just might fascinate you. So let's see how they define a balanced housing market. They say, in a nutshell, balance means that the raging seller's market that dominated since COVID-19 pandemic is slowly shifting, not into a full buyer's market territory, but towards a middle that puts buyers and sellers on more even footing. So in your words, how would you describe the current housing market? One thing is for sure, people will always be people doing what people do. Buying and selling homes when the time is right for them in their lives for the reasons important to them is part of what people do. People will make their move whether the real estate market is up, down, or all around. So if you're thinking through your options and wondering what you should do next, click here to watch how the home buying process works, or click here to learn 5 effective strategies to sell your house. Either way, the choice is yours. I look forward to seeing you in the following video. Until then, I'm sending you positive vibes. Everything is going your way.